Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about zodiac signs and their handling of money. I'll go through all 12 signs, starting with Aries and then ending with Pisces. Well, first, sign Aries. Aries is a sign that's known to be very assertive and aggressive. So make no bones about it. Aries is the type that would go after, I guess you could say, a financial undertaking, or would capitalize on something that would be a good business deal very quickly. They would move a lot faster than the average person in terms of this. They just have to be careful about maybe being a little bit impulsive and maybe accidentally, inadvertently entering a wrong business venture or a job position. But Aries, is being as aggressive as they are, when it comes to money, they will go after what seems to be a good deal, and will be very opportunistic. Now, Taurus. Now, this is the sign of money, in my opinion. Now, Taurus is a sign, of course, that's very prudent. They're pragmatic and practical. And Taurus has kind of that slow but steady progress philosophy. They're very methodical. They can save their money. They can be very good at investing, have good financial acumen, are very economical. And it's a sign that may not come into a lot of money right away, but because their ability to acquire and their knowledge about money can be very profound. Over a sustained period of time, they could accumulate a lot of resources, including, of course, money and possessions, and be very good at it. Now, the next sign I'll talk about is Gemini. Now, Gemini is a sign, of course, that is connected with intellect, and Geminis are often very smart. They can be good in terms of acquiring money, but they generally, I don't see Gemini as a sign that really accentuates or emphasizes money very strongly. They may not be worried about saving that much money. It's not as significant to them as other things in their life. But Gemini would have to be careful, though, of is perhaps spending things on items that might be frivolous or somewhat superficial, and they're not really of much importance. Because if they do and they don't spend it on the things that are more important, then they could be in financial trouble, perhaps. Now, the next sign we'll talk about is Cancer. Now, Cancer, this is the kind of sign that could be good in in a family business, or maybe working from their home. That sign is fundamentally cautious. So I believe in terms of money, they're like this as well. I think they're similar to Taurus. Cancers can be very, I guess we could say, clingy. I think perhaps to their money. They can be more extravagant when it comes to family members and loved ones, though. But they do, they could save in a very, I think, methodical way, and really, because they're so cautious. They're not the type often to go after an investment where they have to put a lot of money down. They're more, I think, conservative, and they'll put, they're type maybe to put money into lower, maybe like, say, stocks, for example, that are consistent. Might not get a lot of money back in a short period of time, but over a long haul, something that is consistently makes a profit for them. So, anyway, the next sign. Now, Leo. Now, the thing most of us realize about Leo is very magnanimous. They could be extravagant. Now, Leos like to be king in whatever they do. This is a sign that could very well have an ability to make a good amount of money, but at the same time they have to guard against being extravagant, perhaps spending recklessly, and this is where their money situation could fluctuate due to this propensity. So that is basically how I see Leo in their handling of money. They're willing to spend a good amount, say on an investment, but they must be careful that it is the right one. Now, the next sign, Virgo. Now, Virgo being an earth sign is obviously, they're like Taurus as far as being prudent and pragmatic and practical in connection with their economical situation in their life. But Virgo is very frugal. They often it'll take a lot for them to spend money. This is the kind of person that might like to buy generic things more so than the average person in order to hold on to what they have. Virgo may not make an immense amount in a short period of time, but saving little by little, by maybe not spending that much, they're able to save, and they could often, when it comes to retirement time, have a good nest egg for themselves, so to speak. Now, Libra. When I look at Libra, this is a sign about equilibrium, about being equitable and fair. This is I see Libra as being very balanced in terms of their economical situation. They can disperse money very evenly, whether it's family, friends, on themselves, for their retirement plan or what have you. So I see Libra as a sign that is, they might not worry about money that much, but they have this sense of balance as far as what to be extravagant on, and what they can maybe minimize as far as their purchases go. Now, sign Scorpio is interesting. Now, most of you know Scorpio corresponds with the 8th house in our horoscope. So this could be a sign that might manage their finances well, but others' resources as well. This could be somebody in a marital situation, or maybe even business, that, well, a marriage situation or family. This could be somebody that could be like the executor of the will, has the ability to manipulate funds, resources in a good way, and being able to, I guess we could say, in a fair, I would say in a fair manner. But this could be a person that thrives on, I guess we could say, on having maybe control of finances. I would say Scorpios can be very shrewd, and I believe in their handling of money. They can as well. This is a sign that can have the ability to, I guess you could say, they might not always reveal often what they have money-wise, monetarily. This is a spot, because Scorpios can be very secretive. This could be something they don't really talk about often, and they often can have more resources and I guess we could say possessions, money, then they're really often willing to show to others. So this is a sign that I see can be actually at least adequate with money, if not better. Now, the next sign, Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius, a lot of us know, can be very expansive, optimistic. They're very happy-go-lucky type nature. This could be a sign that is visionary, and perhaps things like with stocks, for example, they may be able to see a stock that may not be thriving at the present time, but because being futuristic, they can see that stock being good in a year or two, and may be very good at like long-term investments, finding the right retirement plan. It's not a sign that necessarily emphasizes money, but as far as planning ahead in terms of growth of a potential stock or a business, or just any investment, they could flourish at that. Now, Capricorn being an earth sign like Taurus and Virgo, as I stated before, very prudent, practical, and pragmatic, can be very good at handling money, can be very methodical in terms of saving their money. This is a sign, I think it could almost unequivocally or be the best at business. So in terms of business, they could be very good. They can have good insight as to what business will make money. and they're also very industrious, hard-working people, and are willing to put forth the effort in a business to generate income. So this is a sign that I would say is very extremely exceptionally good financially in handling of money. Now the next sign, Aquarius. Now Aquarius is a sign that can be, we can look at this as unpredictable. They're eccentric, they're non-conforming. This could be a sign I think can go either way in terms of the money because of the unpredictability with the sign. This is not a sign that necessarily emphasizes money. I see this sign could be, as far as money goes, somebody that might spend an exorbitant amount on things, on big items, but perhaps on items that aren't of much significance, or things that just don't generally cost much. They might be trying to save more, such as grocery items. So they kind of have their own, I guess you could say, their own way of looking at their finances, and how and what they do is, I mean, however might have their unique perspective, I guess, as what I'm trying to say, unique perspective on things that are economical, that are related to monetary matters. It's a sign, I believe, that just kind of, however they spend their money or don't spend it, they generally are going to be very independent, freedom-oriented, and will not really, and really don't care what anybody thinks of what they do as far as things of a monetary nature. And anyway, last but not least, Pisces is a sign we know can be very idealistic. Pisces can come across as unrealistic to people. They may be in some ways. Pisces has to be careful of. They could be very dreamy. They might reach for the stars, but not always have the finances to reach it. So it's a sign, being that it can be prophetic. They're kind of similar to Sagittarius, I think, this way. They could see the big picture. They could see something that maybe doesn't look good at the time in terms of, say, a stock or an investment, but they could see it further ahead, and they could be the kind of person to put an investment in something that to them looks promising in the future. But they have to be careful not to be duped by others and taking advantage of Pisces' good disposition, and not to be manipulated by somebody that promises them the world but really may not really deliver on hardly anything. So that's really the thing I think what Pisces needs to be careful on. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for zodiac signs and the handling of money. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be continuing my Chiron in the sign series. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.